Welcome back. Azim, let's talk about a third habit from the corporate Sufi philosophy, goal setting. As a leader, goal setting seems to be the only measurement criteria. Have we been able to do what we want to do? I've got my goals. If I don't have my goals, I have no direction. Introduce us how the corporate Sufi model of goal setting might be different.
So the way I look at it from a corporate Sufi perspective, I will ask you a question. Imagine you're 90 years old and now you're coming to the end of your life and you're going back to your creator, if you believe in a creator. And the creator says, Salim, welcome back. I gave you eyes. They were so small, but they could see the stars trillions of miles away. So you were so small, but you had that enormous power inside you. I gave you a brain that was more powerful than a computer. Tell me about your life. And you have 2 minutes to say something which would make you feel, wow, what a life I had. What would you say? I'm putting you on the spot. Just normally 30-second answer is as good as a 30-minute answer. What would you say?
I would say that I helped make a difference in my family, my business, and the world.
Okay, so you're saying for you, if you could say that I made a difference to my family, my business, and to the world, it's really a wow for me. So to me, goal setting starts there. The end of all ends. Okay? Now, once you start there, and then you do your 5-year goals, 1-year goal, 90-day goals, and align them to that, there is something that a congruence happens. Because everything you're doing is aligned to a bigger purpose. Most people haven't got that right. They start with the 5-year, or 1 year, or 10 years. But the 10 years is not aligned to the end of all ends. So what happens is they're chasing so many things, which at the end of the day, we're all born with zero, and we die with zero. You're born naked, and you die naked. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have financial goals. You should have it, but when you realize the end goals is you're going to go with nothing, then your perspective changes of how you set your goals.
So we came with nothing, we go with nothing. So that means we've got a life to do something productive. So when we go to goal setting, does this mean that I should plan that when I'm 90, what am I going to tell the creator? Or does it mean that I have certain obligations of where I am? So my priorities should be for others. So how do I start looking at my goal setting? Because goal setting, there is so many different aspects: family goal setting, business goal setting, etc.
So yeah, when you said that for you, it'll be made a difference to my family, to my business, and to the world. So whatever goals you set is aligned to that. I'm doing something to help my family. I'm doing something to help my business. I'm doing something to help the world. And so whatever goals I'm setting for 90 days or 1 year or 5 years have some connection to this. And because it's a connection, you feel at peace because you're not going the wrong direction. You're not climbing the ladder in the wrong wall. That after you climb for 30, 40 years and you get everything, all the goals you set, and you say, I don't want this. But in the meantime, 40 years are gone chasing something because you chase something which is not aligned to your bigger goal.
And by the way, you're the best example of that. For so many years, you were chasing accounting, and then something happened.
I started with science, and I was lousy at science, completely a failure. Accounting, I did well. I got the best result in the history of the college. I had 3 degrees. But then I realized the enemy of the best is not the worst. The enemy of the best is the good. I was a good accountant, but what I do now, I'm best at. So it took me a long time, but better late than never. So yeah, I think when you align your goals to the bigger picture, then you get a head start. Because you're not going to go one way and then when you're 60 or 70, you realize I didn't do the right thing. Now you're changing course, which becomes more difficult.
Let's talk a little bit about purpose, vision, and goal setting. I know this is a topic of goal setting, but goal setting needs an end, or it needs a vision, or it needs a purpose. Now, you have previously spoken about the value of purpose. If you don't have a purpose, does this mean you don't have direction?
Yeah, so to me, what you just said about the 90-year-old thing is your purpose. You're basically saying, I've come to this world to do 3 things. I've come to this world to support my family who was entrusted to me. I don't choose my family. I can choose my friends, but I can't choose my family. It was given to me, so I feel responsible in a positive way. So that is one of my purpose in life. The business I've chosen, which is my livelihood, I would call it livelihood because your business, you're professional, you're a soccer player, whatever, you feel that's important for me because if I do well there, then I create enough income for my family, which can have a better quality of life. And if I can do even more better, I can give some of it to charity, so I'm able to make an impact to the world. And throughout my life, I'm always looking at how I can make an impact to the world beyond my family and beyond my business. So in some way, you kind of define your purpose, what it is. So everything you do, you go back to the basic, this is who I am as a person, and you're guided by that. In terms of vision, I think, vision is where you want to achieve. Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf and mute most of her life, was once asked, what is more tragic than blindness? Can you imagine you're blind, can't see anything? What can be more tragic? And she said, to have sight but no vision is more tragic than blindness. Because if you have a vision, then you're directing your energy, your focus towards something bigger. And especially if your vision is aligned to your purpose, that's magical. And then you set goals which are aligned to your vision and your purpose. And then there is the congruence, harmony, integrity, where the magic happens. And that's where when you live every day in that kind of mode, then it's powerful.
A quote that you've used often, I think was Mark Twain, is the two most important days of your life. One is the day that you're born, and the second is when you realize why.
So today when I asked you the 90-year question, you found out why you're born.
Absolutely. Great. So give us a framework of how I can take my 90-day goal setting forward.
So first of all, you write down your articulated, your end of all end goals. In your case, family, I want to impact my family positively. I want to impact my business positively, and I also want to impact the world positively. So that becomes your overriding, end of one goal. So that's starting point. Then you say, okay, I'm going to now focus on, given the world we are living in today, before you used to do 10 years, 20 years, now we're looking at there's so much change happening. So you say 5 year, 1 year, 90 days, or 5 year, 3 years, 1 year, 90 days. Okay? So obviously you're starting from the end of all ends. So you start with a 5-year vision where you say, in 5 years, if I'm talking to you on January 26th at 11:45 a.m., 2025, 2026, what does life look like? What will you tell me? So same day as we are today, you're fast forwarding 5 years, what does it look like? So you come up with your vision. If I'm here in terms of my personal, my business, and whatever else I'm doing, that would be a wow for me. So you articulate that. Then you break it down into 1 year and then 90 days. And when you do 90 days, I have a scorecard that we can share with our viewers in terms of, it's a one-pager. Then you set a goal on your work, on your lifelong learning, on your finance, on your family, on your health and your spirituality. And one day I was doing a talk with a YPO group in DRC, and so I told them this one page is worth $1 million. So one of the YPOs had to go early for some meeting, so he left. He was a bank CEO or somebody. So we're still continuing. So he phoned one of the YPO. He said, hey, can you do me a favor? I said, why? He said, I forgot my 1 million page at the desk. Can you bring it with you? So it's very powerful because you write these things down in 90 days, what you want to accomplish as an outcome. And every day you look at and you know what? You take this piece of paper and you set your 3 priorities daily, personal and business, around this. So you're scheduling your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule.
Very interesting. So that means if you've got 6 different blocks, 3 priorities, so I have to do 18 things a day?
No. So 3 priorities revolve around the 3 areas, which is your family, your health and spirituality, which are personal. Okay? And 3 priorities around your business side is your work, your finance, and your lifelong learning, which are business related. So you pick 3 here and 3 here for the day. The rest is status quo.
So we spoke earlier about mediocrity. So let's say I do my goals and I say, okay, tomorrow I want to get to work on time. That's nothing special. What is there in the philosophy, in the corporate Sufi concept, that am I actually living to my capacity? Am I underachieving? I might be happy, but actually I have the potential for so much more. Where does that conversation happen?
So it all boils down to the vision, right? If your vision is small, then your daily actions are small. But if your vision is like a pie in the sky, it's really a big, hairy, audacious goal, then of course your yearly goals and your 90-day goals are going to be as much, stretching. One of my clients, I'm going to give his name because I told him I'm going to use your example. He said, but you must give me credit. I said, no problem. His name is Ignacio Cortez. He's in Puerto Rico. They own a beautiful business. They have a restaurant called Chocobar, and they have a big factory in the Dominican Republic. So he gave me an example. He said there are 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. The small circle in the middle is people who are dead. They're not dead, but they're dead. You know people who I'm talking about? That they are alive, but they're almost dead, doing nothing, right? Second circle is people who are comfortable. Yeah, comfortable, don't bother me. I'm doing my stuff, you know. Don't do anything extra, I'm doing comfort. Then there are people who stretch. They like to stretch, you know. They always want to do more. And the last circle is people who panic. She said the best place to be is comfort, stretch, but don't go into panic. So if you keep stretching every day, then you know you're also keeping your base, your foundation, but you're always stretching to achieve your goal. So depending on your vision, you set your goals daily, aligned to that kind of. Otherwise, you won't achieve your 90-day goals and the 5-year goals because what you're doing is too mundane, it's too pedestrian to get you to where you want to go.
So it all starts with a vision.
The end of all ends, and then vision.
Okay, so the end of all ends, and then to get there, you need to have a vision. How do I write a vision for myself? Do I sit with someone? Do I go for a course? How do I self-reflect? Do I meditate? How do I write my vision?
So go back to your 90-year plan, okay? Family, business, world. So, and maybe personal, which personal can have the world part as well, where you're setting your own vision, Salim's vision. This is my vision. Then you have a family vision together. What is our vision as a family? Then you have a business vision with your business people, your partners, your executive team, your employees. So now, depending on whose vision it is, you involve people. In your personal case, you take ownership, unless you want to have your spouse as a key player in your personal life, then you involve her to be part of your vision. Because whenever you need help of somebody else, you need to have them have ownership. And the ownership only comes by engaging, empowering, energizing.
Got it. Okay, fantastic. So I think it's okay to have different visions depending on what sphere of your life you want to
But they all align to the 90-year goal.
They all align to them.
Okay. The 90-year vision, right? So goal setting basically in terms of habit. You know, there's something, you know, like I say my goals every day. And there are a few things about goal setting. Once you've done this thing we talked about, then frequently go back to them, frequently. Have intensity about it, okay? Say it for a length of time. The longer you say, the better. Have crystal clarity. Somebody wakes you up at 3 in the morning, you can tell them, blah, blah, blah. So what happens is now you're walking, talking, breathing, sleeping your goals. You know, you're so aligned to what you're doing, and it helps you say no for a deeper yes. Because you have your deeper yes is your 90-year goal, your 5-year, your 1 year. So that's what you're going to say yes to. If something else comes up which doesn't align with it, you're going to say no. Because by saying yes to this, you're saying no to this.
And we only have so much time in our lives. So that's one of the ways that we can try and balance. Less is more. Fantastic. Great. So just maybe summarize for us the habit that we have to take back on goal setting.
Okay. First, write down what your 90-year-old goal is when you're passing away. 90-year-old is a number. You could pass away 80 or 100 or whatever. But imagine what is the wow for you then. You know, Steve Jobs, even though when he was dying, he said, wow, wow, wow. But he also said that the money part and all that was paled in what my health was. I can't buy my health with all the money I have. So that's number one in your starting point. Second is go to a longer term period. Right now, with the world we are living in, 5 years is reasonable because so many changes happening. So you think in 10 years, maybe much more stretch. Then you go to a 3-year, 1 year, and 90 days goals. Read them every day. Know them like at the back of your palm. Don't make it too complicated. Keep it simple, sweetheart. You know, the KISS principle. And then remind yourself daily with intensity, with frequency, with the length of time, and with crystal clarity. If you do that, that's a habit which can be a powerhouse.
Excellent. Azim Jamal, thank you very much for that.
So I hope you benefited from the 7 habits we've talked about with Salim and myself. And they are life-changing habits. And if you implement in your life, it can be a huge benefit for you. It's been a huge benefit for me. They are not easy to make it as natural as breathing and become a master at it. And that's why we're offering this program to help you implement in such a way that you become a master at them, so they can be lifelong habits for you, which can be transformational in your life. So thank you for being here, and we're looking forward to our workshops and weekly exercises with you.